on. Welcome as the numbers start popping in. How you guys? How's everyone doing? We are on Facebook Live. We're good to go. Good morning, you guys. Welcome to day 3 as we are waiting for our friends to hop on. How are you guys doing? How's everyone doing this morning? It's been 3 days, start of day 3 since we've started this series, and it's super exciting. But while we're waiting for more people to hop on, I'd love for you guys to share some of the things that you've been learning over the last 2 days. Maybe some of the top, the top 2 things that you've learned. And most importantly, are you implementing it, right? It's one thing to learn it all, but are we implementing that into our business? Because remember, you guys, dreams drive the action. So it's not just about being here on every morning, but really implementing everything that you're learning. So welcome. Good morning, you guys. As these numbers start to keep jumping on or keep getting high. Before we get started, one thing that I want you guys to do, those that are in Zoom, not our Facebook friends, but those that are in Zoom, is I want you to change your chat to all participants and attendees, because I know more times than not, all we're seeing is just the panelists that are seeing, all of your chats, and we want everyone to see the chats because it really just keeps the motivation and really the inspiration going. So make sure that you're changing it to all panelists and attendees on your chat. And let's go ahead and get started because we've got a really busy morning. We've got a lot of amazing things happening. We've got amazing speakers on today, and I'm just really pumped to be here with you guys. For those who don't know me, my name is Michelle Bomba, and I am taking over Jamil today. And I'm just really excited because today is really going to explode with a lot of incredible information, a lot of amazing knowledge to really help you and really grow in this series and really grow to your business. Because as we know, this series was designed to help you grow and to help you reach your goals by the 20th of this month. And why is that? Is because when you reach your goal, whether it's a rank or whether it's a place where you wanted to be at, when you set your goal at the beginning of this month, you're leaving room for major growth over the last 10 days, right? We're leaving growth to help more people, to help our coaches reach their goals. So it's really important to really start getting into the notion of getting into action at the beginning of the month. A lot of times we're in so much action at the end of the month that we left our foot off the gas, right? At the beginning of the month, we give ourselves kind of a break. But let me tell you, there's something so special about not letting your foot off the gas and just going towards, especially in the beginning of the month, to get to those goals by the beginning of the month, to get there by the 20th. You're going to hear that so much in so many trainings, is getting to those goals by the 20th of the month is really where it's at, because it's going to leave amazing room for growth at the end. And anything that you're really listening to on a training or being shared is really being shared for a reason. We're never going to share something, or we're never going to suggest you do something that we haven't done ourselves, or any of these amazing trainers have done themselves. The most successful coaches in this business just play the best game of follow the leader, following obviously your mentor's guidance, your coach, what they're suggesting you to do, these trainings. And because you guys, the systems are laid out, we know that the systems are laid out. So many people have come before us to show us that we could really create whatever dreams we're looking for with Optavia. It's going to take work. It's going to take some hard work. This business is simple, but it's not always easy, and it takes grit. And speaking of grit, I really wanted to share something with you guys, when it comes to grit. It's something I feel like we don't share often, but an incredible coach in our family actually shared this on one of our team calls. And I thought, man, this was so good. Because when Verenia speaks, it is powerful. Maybe many of you may have heard her share back in May when she did the 11 days to ED. So many of you may know her, but I wanted to share this because, and really share this with a twist to go into what today's topic is, and which is all about connections and making connections. So as we get into this training, and we start to hear these incredible trainers talk about about really different ways to connect, I want you to think about grit, okay? So G stands for get excited. What is your story? What are you passionate to share? Why are you excited to share your story? Remember, you guys, as people don't come into this because they want to buy into Optavia. They're coming into this because of you. and your story and your passion and your excitement. Okay. R stands for resilience, because throughout your journey, you may have some setbacks. I mean, you wouldn't be a normal coach if you really didn't, honestly. But making those connections and just sharing your story, remember that it's never a no. And I know you hear this a lot. It's never a no, just a not yet. But it's so true, because they're going to continue to watch you. And if you're consistent, and most importantly, you don't give up, in time, they're going to come, because connections are just about building relationships and building that trust. I is for intention. You know, what is your why? Why are you here? Because grit does not happen by accident. You have to put in the work every single day, even on the days that you don't feel like it, because your goals don't care how you feel, right? I know we hear this a lot. You have to work every day on your action plan, because dreams drive the action. So really get crystal clear of what it is that you want to create. And then there's T for time, okay? Work smart, use time wisely. Structure is key in this business. Structure, I mean, you want to make sure that you are structuring your day, structuring your life, because if you don't run the day will run you. So work smarter and not harder. So I thought that was so amazing for this series, and really so amazing for just life in general, because it really does take grit in this business, and knowing what you want, and be intentional with your time. And just know that, you know, it takes time to build a business, right? It doesn't always happen overnight. Some of these trainers that speak, that you hear have amazing, successful business, it's because it takes time, and most importantly, they didn't give up, because there was times where things got tough and they just kept going. So let's go ahead and get this party started. I know over the last 2 days, we've started the call with some powerful stories of coaches who are in massive momentum. And so I'm excited to bring on two incredible coaches who they're going to share how they've been in massive momentum. So I've never heard their stories. I'm excited to hear it. So I'm going to bring on Elizabeth and Sean Henley to come on and share their stories. So you two go ahead and take it away.
Good morning, family. Hope everyone's doing well. Again, my name is Sean.
I'm Liz, and this is Boston.
So I got a baby on there. So yeah, basically we want to kind of go over our little story of how we've created massive momentum. We found that commitment is the igniter of momentum. So one of the things we wanted to get really, really strong in was client support. We found that it was easier to keep momentum going than to keep starting over each month. Before it was like, you know, you end the month strong, and then day one happens and you're like, oh, well, I did great on the 31st. It's the 1st. I'm taking a break. That was a terrible, terrible plan. We did that for months and just kept realizing that our business kept dropping, and then we had to try to pick it back up. So it was like, keep the momentum going. We finally got smart and realized how to do that. So throughout just your day, you can kind of find momentum, kind of grabbing things through really anything. Shows like Netflix, Hulu, Primetime, all use momentum to keep things going. So if you notice at the end of a show, they're going to basically auto push you into the next show. So they're using momentum to keep you hooked, to keep you staying there, to keep you entertained. And we're like, oh, okay, so we got to use momentum. Let's keep this going. So just like Michelle was saying, like, you got to keep it going. You can't stop on the 1st. You can't stop on the 31st. It's so much easier to keep your business moving forward. So.
Yes. So to piggyback off what my husband said, we have absolutely found that if you touch your business every single day, it's so much easier to keep it going. Even if you have a list of 10 things you want to do and you don't get all 10 done, touch it every day. As long as you are taking action every day, you are able to keep it going. Some days you may be able to do more, some days you do less, but you do something every single day. One thing that we really worked on was leaning into our support team. We bother the heck out of Jamil constantly, but what we put in, we get back. So the more we work and the harder we lean into him, the more he's able to pour into us, and that just keeps it going. And it was so important for us to keep this going because we have a lot of goals we're trying to hit. And it's very important to keep your why at the forefront of your mind. We have a newborn baby, we have 2 other young kiddos, and it's important for us to be around for them as they're growing up. If your why is not strong enough to jump you out of bed in the morning, I encourage you to revisit your why. There's a chance you may have not nailed it down yet to exactly what it is. So keep it going, keep digging, find something that really motivates you, lean into your support team, and touch your business each and every day. You may experience some challenges along the way. There may be days where life just gets in the way and it just gets busy, but the more you pour into it, the more you're going to get out of it. There's times where you may feel like you haven't done enough and you get into that negative self-talk and think, oh, well, I'll just start again Monday. You get into that client mentality. That is detrimental. You have to stay focused, keep your eyes on the prize, and make sure that you're doing something each and every day. So lean into your support team and you will get out just as much as you put in. I hope you all have a great day, and that's all we've got, Michelle. Thank you.
What a way to start off the morning. That was so powerful. You guys get a lot from that. And what I love is touch your business every single day. So dead on. Do not let your foot off the gas and just keep going. That was so good, you guys. I can see why you're building that momentum because you're just going. You know what your why is, you know what you want, and you're going for it. So thanks for sharing. Put in the chat the top 2 things that you just heard from Elizabeth and Sean. That was so good, you guys. All right, are we ready to start this off? And let's get it going. You know, we are here for connections, right? We're here to learn how are we building these connections and learning from the best of the best. You know, so I really want to see in this chat from on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, I want you guys to post this. Starting off, where do you think your comfort level is on knowing how to make connections on social media? Because social media, my gosh, I can go on forever of how incredible that tool is to really grow your business. But I'd rather bring on our first speaker, who is a master at connections on social media. And you heard him bring the fire yesterday and even the tears, and he absolutely was just amazing. And so I'm excited to bring on, for an encore, Mr. Eric Boyette to come on and teach us how to master in the area of social media. So Eric, my friend, I'm passing it to you.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much, Michelle. Oh, I love hearing from Sean and his wife too. What a cute little baby to join us this morning. So today we're going to get into a little bit of the nitty gritty. Okay, so we talked yesterday and we were learning how to tell our story. We were learning what a powerful tool social media can be for getting that out there. Today I'm going to be telling you how to make connections, how to expand your network and really reach as many people as possible, because we know that we can help people. So when I talk about connections, sometimes it feels a little less personal. You know, yesterday was all about emotion. Today, I'm talking really about the business of connecting. But why is that? Like, why can we talk about this as a business and feel good about that? Well, number one, it is a business. We're here to help people. We're here to make an income. We're here to transform the world. But secondly, it can't always be so emotional. Sometimes we have to really focus on the bigger picture. That, you know, there's certain things I need to do to be really good at what I do, which is help people. So never be afraid to kind of look at your network as that. This is your people. These are the people that you can have an impact on. And there's definitely a process to making that work correctly for you. So when we talk about connections, we're talking about growing our business. We're talking about growing our network rather, and really having as many people as possible that associate what we do with us. You know, that's really the goal here, is influence. So, and sometimes we're talking about getting the word out on what we do. And how do we do that? We've got to grow our network, and really we've got to develop authentic friendships with people. So when I'm looking at my network, I'm thinking of everyone I know literally as a potential client that I can help. Every single person in my network, I kind of see them on a spectrum of people maybe I barely know, those that I know really well, those who have inquired about Plan, maybe those that are already on Plan, and even coaches that we sponsor. How can I maximize my influence with people? That's what this is really about. When we talk about connections, we're talking about that because we need influence. So The first part of having some influence is having a big network, right? So I'm talking about social media in particular today. So how do we grow our network? I mean, I started out as a coach with just a few hundred friends. Now I have several thousand. So let's talk about how to make that happen. Obviously, you guys already know the 3x3x3. I'm sure we're going to hear more about that during the training, but part of that is making 3 new friends every day. So if you do that, you're going to have over 1,000 friends within a year. And let's say you want to do a little quicker. Maybe you make 6 friends a day, then you're going to double that. Or you do 10 a day and you're going to triple that. That is definitely where you want to focus some energy. So where do we find these friends? One of the very first things to do, especially if you're a new coach, or maybe if you didn't do this already, is just rack your brain, rack your contact list. Like, who is it that I'm not already connected with on Facebook that I could be? Think about adding those people. And also look at groups that you already are maybe active in, because a lot of times we're in a group on social media, but maybe we're not actually friends with the people in that group. So become a little more bold. If you've got people you're engaging with, then go ahead and reach out and try to connect with them as a friend. So that's all the low-hanging fruit. Hopefully you guys already know that. Once that's done, we really need to start joining groups for this purpose in particular. And I like this because there's many ways to do this. I mean, some people will just take everyone that's suggested, and that's fine as well. But I like to get into groups that have things that I am actually interested in, that I have some passion in, because those are people that I'm going to connect with a lot easier. So if I have, for me, I have a hobby of photography. I enjoy kayaking. So I join a lot of groups for those things, because it's very easy for me to talk about those things. It's easier for me to connect with these people authentically, instead of kind of like, this small talk kind of superficial thing that we can fall into. As you engage in those groups, just send friend requests to people. Get in the habit of really not caring who accepts those or who ignores them or declines them. Guys, you cannot control that end of it. So don't worry about that. What I trust in is that I'm going to connect with the people that I was meant to, the people that are looking for me. So as your network grows, we want to make strong connections, and we want to get the word out, right, to as many people as possible. An important part of doing that effectively for me is having lists, because I have a ton of friends. So if I'm not making a hundreds lists, and I'm just kind of here and there, I'm scrolling Facebook a lot, I'm not being intentional about what I'm doing. It's kind of like vacuuming the house with a dustbuster and like a random pattern. You're not going to get everyone, and you're not going to be as effective as you could be. So create that list every month. People will remain on the list, sometimes for more than a month. People will come and go. I'm really thinking about that spectrum I was talking about when I have people on the list. Maybe I don't know them at all. That's a great person to put on my intentional list. Obviously, people that are on my heart or that I know could use help from our program, I'm putting those on the intentional list as well. But really just anyone that I want to know better. Because always remember this, it doesn't matter if they are looking for plan or you think they need plan. That, number one, they probably do. We know this is way more than just weight loss. And number two, they're a gateway to a whole lot of other people that you can't even begin to try to pre-qualify like that. So create your list every month. What you do with that list is you try to interact with these people on social media. I want to be going to their page, like, comment, message. You guys have heard about that. You're probably going to hear more about that later on. But that is kind of my process for getting to know someone. Now, these sometimes start out pretty light. My goal is to get into deep conversations. My goal is to actually develop a friendship with people. But you kind of got to figure out who that is. Some people are receptive, some are not. If I have someone who's not talking or not answering me or not engaging with me, well, then I'm probably not going to keep them on my intentional list for the following month. I'm going to make some room for someone else, because this is the work. This is the grind kind of behind the scenes of what I need to do if I want to help as many people as possible. If you have less than 100 people, then put them all on your list. They're all your intentional list. But as your list grows, you're going to want to be rotating that. So you're kind of going through there. Even when people aren't answering you, you are succeeding in convincing Facebook that you are good friends with them so that they'll see more of your posts. We're kind of tricking the algorithm here. So let's see. Sorry, I'm skipping around here a little bit today. As I see that people are getting to know me and interacting, then I'm really going to ramp up how much I'm interacting with them. There's actually a way on Facebook you can mark to see someone first in your list, but probably a better idea is just to have them on the list and be intentional by actually going to their profile to interact with them, sending them messages often to talk about things that they're posting, to talk about comments that they made on posts that you did. The great thing about working on these connections is you're just always working on that influence. I mean, there is no wasted time here. It always serves a purpose. When we have, I want to also just talk about the fact that these connections, we're not just talking about people we don't know. We're also talking about people that we've already had health assessments with, people that we want to follow up with. We want to keep showing them that we care about them, that this was not about just signing them up on our program. You know, the more times that we're interacting with these people, the more often they are going to start seeing the positive things going on in your life with your health and everything else. So just always continue to show up with those people. That's kind of a separate list for me. I have my intentional list, and then I have people that I'm following up with who I've already talked with about plan in the past. So at the end of the day, I mean, really, I look at it this way. Most jobs involve making something or providing a service, right? And this one, we're providing a great service, and what we're making is people healthier. We're helping them to lead more fulfilled lives in every sense of the word. And as with anything out there, this is a process. So when I look at people on my friends list, I'm actually thinking about that spectrum and where they are on there. But I'm also thinking about the raw materials it takes to accomplish this mission. First, I need people to influence. That's about expanding our network, right? Then I need to earn trust. That is gaining that influence. That's how you get it. I need to share my story. You know, they trust me. Now they're seeing my story because I'm broadcasting it a lot. That's where conversations start coming from. Even with clients, I need to integrate my clients into all 4 components. That's part of connection. I need to show those clients how they can help others and continue their own pursuit of self-development and self-improvement, even to the point of them becoming coaches themselves. And then with our coaches, of course, we want to integrate them into the community of Optavia. So I'm going to talk a little bit more on Friday about conversations, and we'll get into some more exciting stuff about that and how that works. But I just wanted to spend the time today to talk to you guys literally about that process of getting the word out, making connections, and really developing authentic relationships with all of the people possible on Facebook. I'm going to toss it back to you, Michelle.
Straight fire. That was so good. So well put together as far as like, it's so true, right? You guys, is Facebook is such an amazing way to just build those connections, build that trust, and you did an amazing job breaking it through. Was that helpful, you guys? Put down, you know, the top 2 or 3 tips that you took from Eric when it comes to making connections on social media and how to really get the word out there, right? So that was so good. Thank you, my friend. So moving on, you guys, you know, now we got the skill set mastering for social media. Now, what about mastering how to connect over the phone? And I feel like this is an area where a lot of people maybe have that fear of connecting over the phone and just sharing with people what it is that we do. But how many of you would like to feel, you know, really learn how to make those connections over the phone so that you don't feel that fear going into it? And so no one better to go through this than the incredible Annika Relaford to come on and share with us, how do we master making connections over the phone? So Annika, my friend, I'm going to pass it to you.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Absolutely love you, my friend. Wow, Eric just brought incredible value to us yesterday and today, right? Like, you guys, like he said, we're providing a service. Do people know what you do? Do they know that you're a health coach? getting the word out is really imperative in this business if you really want to go help people and if you want to build a lucrative business. You guys, it's really quite simple if we choose to make it simple. All right, so what's more simple than this? Look, everybody has one. So I want you guys to bring it back. But back before 2004, when Facebook became a thing, how do you suppose people like Karen Elstrom, Kim Fisk, Brian Drollinger, even Dr. A, created a massively successful business? They picked up the phone. I know, right? It's so basic. And most of us overlook the real power that it contains. It connects us to literally thousands of people every single day. So how many of you said when you started this, right? I don't like social media. Maybe it was before you started coaching and you were thinking about it. You're like, I don't know, like social media. We had that fear concept. Okay, great. Let's start here. You guys can increase your sphere of influence through the people that you already know through your phone. So when we look at making connections and letting people know what it is that we do, using our phones is really simple. The only thing that's really getting in our way is our head. And I'll be honest with you guys, I shared this before, but 3 years ago, I wasn't the best at making it simple. In fact, I thought I knew how to maximize this thing. So 3 years ago, my mentors told me, look, this is a people business. Your job is to build connections, increase your sphere of influence. So my parents had run their own business. So I thought I knew exactly what to do to make it a successful one. And immediately I thought, the more people that I could give my information to, the better. And I'll show you exactly what I did that set me back weeks. I did a business card. Yeah, I put my business in somebody else's hands. And what did I get? I didn't get much. It either this got lost or I was expecting them to come to me. The second thing that I really did wrong is that I waited for people to come to me. I'd post, but I'd never call. I'd never text. I'd never reach out. And again, I was really putting my business, my dreams, my why, my future in somebody else's hands. And from that, I learned some really important lessons on using the phone, making connections, and keeping my business in my own hands. So really, there's 4 ways that have really helped me keep it safe and growing by using my phone. And so write these down, you guys. Success really leaves clues in this. Number 1, you acquire people's phone number and you keep it on your phone. Don't give out your phone number to somebody else and expect them to call you back. Okay? Number 2, you ask if they're on Messenger. Go find them, go put it in your phone and keep an eye on them. Back it up with a list like Eric said, and that way you've got a reminder and you've got it on your phone so that you can scroll back in the history and go find them. Number 3, share your quick 30-second story on the phone with anybody you know. Karen talks about this regularly, about her insurance lady, that she was on the phone with her and actually acquired her and supported her as a client. Guys, these are people that are already in your phone too. Go scroll through them. How many contacts do you have? And you can start scrolling through this thing and being like, oh yeah, Jeannie St. Pierre, I haven't even talked to her. I wonder what kind of doorways she's going to open up. That is really number 4, you guys. Ask your contacts for referrals. You've probably heard Jamil said this. The 300 contacts are like 3,000 connections. These people are doorways. As Eric's saying, it's about maximizing your influence. So how many people do they know that they can connect you with that they know need us? And if there's interest, guys, our number one priority always is to move it to the phone or to a Zoom call and do a health assessment. Our goal is not to text them over the phone. All I do is if there's any peak of interest is like, okay, I'd be honored to sit down with you, listen to your goals, see if what I do may be a good fit for the things that you're looking for. When do you have 20 or 30 minutes this week to connect you so that you have my undivided attention, right? So number 4 that we talked about is asking for referrals. I just did this last week, and our client Monica said, hey, my friend Donna is up in Idaho, she's moving, and I think she may be interested. I said, great, connect us with a 3-way message, and that way I can go ahead and contact her. I know she may be busy, and I don't want her to feel like she's forgotten about. Guess what happened? She connected us yesterday. I now have a new referral and a contact, and Donna is on my list, and I'm not leaving it up to Monica now or Donna to contact me. I'm keeping my business in my own hands. So what happens if they're not ready after the call, you guys? You can still keep this business in your own hands, right? Mention and making sure that you guys are friends on Facebook and add them to your own client support group. That way you can keep an eye on them, okay? Add them to your connections group in Optavia Share or email them. I personally love using Optavia Share because my time is very valuable and that system's already been created. So if you spend a little time on the front end and sacrificing a little bit of good, the great makes it so much easier to just be like, okay, now I've got their email, now I can send them a newsletter or a thank you email. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Send out those newsletters though through Optavia Share and keep dripping on them. And this is another way to remind people that you're there, that you're thinking about them, you're adding value to them as an individual and giving them something to continually think about. So you guys, really, this business is your farm, your field, your opportunity. We're all given the same acreage. It's up to you on how many seeds you actually sow, how you water, how you fertilize, and how you tend to that field will really determine your harvest. Thank you, Michelle.
That was so good. Was that not powerful, you guys? And what I love is she makes it seem so easy, right? And she just spoke to it like it's nothing. Well, it is nothing. It is easy. It's the only thing that holds us back is the fear of thinking it. That was absolutely so powerful. Put the top 2 or 3 things that you heard Annika say. And I want you all to do this. Okay, so how many contacts do you have in your phone? Do you actually know how many contacts that you have in the phone? You know, Annika did such an amazing job really explaining to us how easy and how basic it is to make connections to people we already know that's already in here, right? And so as you're really looking through the connections in your phone, I want you guys to remember this. Remember, Eric and Annika both said people are going to be doorways. Not everyone is going to do our program, right? Not everyone is going to want to do this, but they're going to be the doorway to someone else who does. And so just picking up your phone and sharing with those people who you may have maybe 500 contacts in there. You know, you may have heard this before, I'm sure most of you have, is everyone knows 600 people by first name, right? You may have 1,000 contacts in your phone. You're not looking for those 1,000 people to do your program. You're now looking for each of their contacts to do their program. So imagine if you were to call these people, even if it's 100 people you were to call over the next couple months, and you just share what it is that you're doing, and to keep an eye out or an ear out for you, if they know someone who can benefit from this program, imagine each of their 600 people. Now that is creating incredible impact, all through the simplicity of just using your phone and just using the tool that we have that's just basic and the people that we already know. So that was so good, my friend. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and sharing your heart with us. All right, guys, let's keep it going. So we've already learned now over the phone connections, social media connections. Well, what about in-person connections? Now, I know we're kind of in a bizarre time right now where maybe we can't make in-person connections just yet. But remember, social distancing will eventually go away, right? And so this is a skill that we absolutely want to master when it comes to meeting people in person and how to create connections this way. And I know no one better than Cindy Kidd to come on and share with us how to create an incredible impact when it comes to in-person connections. So Cindy, my friend, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm super excited to share with you about this topic because it is one of my favorites. And that's not to say that Andrew and I haven't built a business using social media because, well, honestly, Facebook is probably one of the best platforms. I forget what Eric called it yesterday, but it was like something epic. But it's true because we get it for free and we've made a lot of connections that way. But I have learned over this past almost year that I am way more of an extrovert than I am an introvert. And that's not to say that in-person connections are only for extroverts, because that is not the case by any means. I want you guys to really find like-minded people and think of different areas where you can do that. Because if you're not networking, you're not working. We always tell new coaches there's no clients that show up in that cute little box that arrives from Optavia, right? There's some awesome tools in there, but there's nobody in the box. So it is a requirement to network and do the work to build your business. And for me personally, there is no better way than making in-person connections, because yes, you can friend people on social media, and you guys are going to learn so much more about this as this training progresses. But there's a level of trust that builds exponentially when you can actually meet folks in person and they get to know you versus maybe chatting with somebody via Facebook message. So a couple things that I've done. Some of you may know, Andrew and I moved to Colorado in September. I left my whole network in Washington, literally, because the only people we knew here were two of our Andrew's Army buddies and their spouses, which are amazing people. But I had no friends here. I had like nothing, just like my little family. And even at the beginning, Andrew was in Washington remodeling our house to put on the market. And so it was just like me, myself, and I, and the two kids. And the two kids were in school all day. So as I was working the business and Andrew's fixing up the house, I had to figure out how to make friends. And it wasn't really a focus of mine when Andrew and I first started building the business, because I was working. I was in corporate America. And a lot of our clients at first were family, or there were people I worked with, or people that I was already friends with on social media. So they got to see Andrew's transformation, and then they got to see my transformation. Over time, that network kind of taps out a little bit. And not to say you can't grow your business and keep your friends list growing like Eric just talked about, but you want to make sure that you are discovering other areas to meet folks. And for me, I chose some pretty fun, adventurous ways. I still used Facebook because I decided to join some groups of things that I think I love, or now that I know I love. But at first I'm like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. I love the outdoors. So I joined a women's hiking group here in Colorado Springs. And it's been so much fun. A little sketchy at first because it's like, well, you're meeting people you don't really know, right? You're going on hikes, never one-on-one. It was always like a group of women, which was awesome. But it's the best way to meet people and interact with them. And I don't go into meeting folks with the intention of, oh gosh, they need program. Like, this is a women's hiking group. Like, these people are active, not to say, some of them can't lose weight, but my intention really is just to build my network, because they could be a gateway to somebody who does need program. And in fact, one of the first hiking meetups that I went to, a gal that was there was asking me about program. She had already lost 80 pounds because she was hiking and being more active. But she's like, tell me more about your program, because I think this might be a good fit for my sister. So you just never know who you're going to interact with. Find groups on Facebook, whether it's hiking groups or plant swap groups. I don't care what groups they are. Just find something that interests you so that you can meet people in person. So leverage the Facebook groups if you're on Facebook. Highly, highly encourage you to do that. Now, if you're someone who says, well, but Cindy, I don't have any interests. Like, I don't have hobbies. I don't know what to do. I encourage you to find something. And maybe you don't know whether or not you like it or you don't like it, but you're not going to know unless you try. And like, I've started liking plants, you guys. I mean, if you guys follow me on Facebook, it's like become mine and Naomi's thing during quarantine. And so I've joined local plant groups here in Colorado Springs, and I'm making connections that way as well. So make something up, right? Think of something that you may be interested in. There's always going to be a group about it, and maybe you can find something locally. So Facebook groups is one option so that you could actually meet people in person. And if it's Healthy Motion, even better. The second one I love is Meetup. If you guys don't have the Meetup app, I encourage you to download it. I mean, it is probably one of my favorite apps when it comes to finding like-minded people. And that's where I found several of my women entrepreneur groups. And talk about like elevating yourself around people who are like-minded. There is no better way to do that than finding these entrepreneur groups, because these are people who want to build businesses. And I'm not going into these groups to say, oh my gosh, I want you to be a health coach. That's not my intention. I'm going into these groups, A, to see what they have to offer, and B, to make connections. I think it was Annika who said it before, where it's like, we're friend collectors. And I love that she said today that your business is your farm, because it's true. We plant seeds all the time. And in these women entrepreneur groups, I have the opportunity to share my story. But I also have the opportunity to learn different business tips. I mean, what's working for them? They may have a different business, but I may learn something from them. They say that we're like what the average of the 5 people we hang out with most. I encourage you to find like 5 people that elevate you and take you to the next level, because the women in this group are pretty amazing. I mean, I have some that have become really good friends and like showed up like unsolicited at the end of my half marathon. So it's like these people have become friends, and that's the most important part, because they are now a referral source for me. They know what I do. I've been able to present in these meetings, and now they tag me in posts all the time, where I'm in like so many local groups on Facebook. But if someone's asking me about weight loss, my friends in this woman entrepreneur group are now tagging me in it because they know what Andrew and I do full time. So Meetup's a great one. It's not just for entrepreneur like type meetings. There's meetups for dog walks. There's meetups for walks. There's meetups for you name it, like everything. So it goes back to find something that you think is going to interest you and join that specific page on the Meetup app, and you'll get updates of when they meet, how they meet, etc. And yes, we're still kind of in social distancing. So a lot of these meetings have gone via Zoom, which is even more fun, because there's no better way to find connections and link to Facebook when you're on a Zoom meeting, and you can take a screenshot or just like a picture of who's attending and then go find them on Facebook. And that conversation, super easy to start. So excited to see you at the meeting this morning. What did you think of it? Or tell me a little bit more about your business. Ask questions. And if you're a little worried about it, like, oh, Cindy, I don't do people. Like, people's not my thing. I'm an introvert. I like my little circle. I just want to help people I know. It gets easier if you just ask questions. It's not about us, you guys. I don't know how long all of you guys have been coaching, but the longer you do this, the more you're going to realize it's not about us at all. So the more you can get good at asking people questions, the easier it's going to get to build relationships with people and continue to network and ask for referrals. So don't be afraid to meet a stranger, even if you don't know them, because all you have to do is just get good at asking questions so that they talk about themselves. Because in reality, that's what people want to do, right? They want to talk about themselves. So another area is church. If you guys, again, not all of them are attending in person, but they all have a lot of groups that you guys can do, whether it's small groups that you can participate in, any volunteer activities. That is a great way to network as well. Toastmasters and mastermind groups are exceptional. And Andrew and I are in Toastmasters, and wow, the value add there is incredible, partly because it's part of our personal development. So if you guys can find ways that you can grow your social circle and include an activity for personal development, even better, because honestly, this business is only going to grow as much as you grow. And if you guys like don't feel like you need personal development, newsflash, we all do. It is something that is ongoing. It's kind of like our health. There's never a destination. Same with personal development. There's always something to learn. There's always something that we can do better. So check out Toastmasters if you guys want to learn how to speak. One of our clients is in Toastmasters. What's awesome about Toastmasters, you guys, is you get to present. That's the whole purpose, is you get up, you get better at your speaking skills, but you get to pick the topics that you want to share your speech on. And so you already know mine and Andrew's is always about health coaching or the program. So it's a great way to get yourself out there and brand yourself in other little areas as well. Now, every time I do this, you guys, it's really important to make sure that you're friending them on Facebook. Now, the great thing about some of these meetups, especially if they're like entrepreneur type groups or mastermind groups, etc., is a lot of us are passing our business cards around. And I know Annika just said business cards don't work. I'm a firm believer of that as well. I'm not handing out my card because I think they need program. I'm handing it because we have to, but I'm taking their card because that is a great way to go onto Facebook and find them. And here's the thing, you guys, if you guys do go to some of these entrepreneur groups, make sure you're also supporting small business. I have a new massage therapist. I have a new hairstylist. I have a skincare line that I'm a part of, because it's not just all take, you guys. Like, I don't go into these meetings and say, oh my gosh, what can you do for me? It is very much reciprocal. And that is where the trust factor even goes up higher. Because when someone knows that you're not going into something because you have an agenda, then trust builds. If you go into something and they're like, oh, you're only meeting with me because you want something from me, forget about it. You're not going to hear from this person again, or the trust just isn't there. So make sure you're going into these meetups not having an expectation, but truly collecting friends, and asking yourself, how can I help them? Even if it's not about program. So when you take it to Facebook, that's always really important, right? Because you want to grow your network on Facebook, because that way you can brand yourself more. And Eric, obviously talked about social media. I'm sure we're going to hear more about it later on this week, but the more you can brand yourself on social media, the better. But my goal when I do meet with people is to make friends. I add them to my Facebook. If I have the ability to get their email, that's awesome, because I will add them to our newsletter list. And if you guys aren't sending a newsletter, highly encourage you to do that, because that's just another way of dripping on folks. And oh yeah, that's the last one, adding them to the newsletter. So those are my 3 goals. Now, again, if you guys aren't networking, you're not working. Don't overthink it. Just like adding friends on Facebook, don't overthink that. Don't overthink meeting people socially and finding something that interests you where you can grow that network. All right, Michelle, back to you.
If I had a mic, I would drop it, because that was absolutely incredible. So many nuggets, and really thinking outside the box. And that is why Cindy and Andrew have grown such an incredibly big business to global director in such a short amount of time. Is because they think outside the box. How can they make more connections with people? So that was amazing. I hope you guys got a lot of tips, a lot of value out of that. And I know, I'm positive you guys did. So put it in the chat how the top 2-3 tips that you got from Cindy. That was so good. Well, you guys, that was incredible. Thank you to our speakers. We are going to finish early today. The perks of not being Jamil is I talk fast, so we get things done quickly, right? So let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen and leave you guys with some action steps for the day. And remember, is if you are not getting into action, you can watch this all day long, but it's not going to grow your business just by watching it, right? You want to get into action and you want to apply what it is that you're learning. So let's go ahead and share our action steps for the day. So it's supposed to say day 3, guys. So day 3 action steps, not day 2. Day 3 action steps is suspend all fear of thinking and just go. We've been hearing this for the last couple of days, the last couple of trainings, because it is so true. Our thoughts are what hold us back. So we really want to just go, right? Just imagine if you were just to, for a season, suspend all fear and just grow, and just go. You're going to see a huge difference in how your business grows and how you feel confident moving forward, and just realize that it's our thoughts and it's us that hold us back. So number 1, suspend all fear of thinking and just go. Win the day, right? How many of you have been doing your win the day cards? Because when you prepare for your day, you win the day. All right. Next, we've got go back to your last 10 likes from your posts and send video messages and connect with those people, okay? So this is the part of what we're gonna do when it comes to the social media aspect of connections. And we're gonna start by just saying, hey, you know, I was thinking about you today. Thanks so much for liking my post. How are you doing during these times? You know, a lot of people have a lot to say about what's going on. And we just wanna know how they're doing. We wanna build that trust, we wanna build that connection. And so this part is, you know, going into the social media aspect of making connections, okay? Next is we're gonna get into over the phone connections, okay? So text your support team, the 10 people today that you're gonna be calling and sharing with them what you're doing and what's going on. You know, I saw in the chat some of the numbers of the contacts that people have in their phone. There is a lot of people, and I know that you can find 10 people in that phone to just call and just share what it is that's been going on. Share your story, share your heart, and just see if they have anyone that they can think of, right? Because remember, you guys, some people are just doorways. Not everyone, we're not calling them to expect them to do our program. You know, we want them to be the doorway to their world. And so this is so powerful when it comes to making connections over the phone. Next, we're gonna get into what Cindy was talking about, the groups, okay? Groups are so powerful to start connections with people that have the same interests as you. So we're gonna find 3 groups that interest you, and we're gonna make a bold post within that group. Now, we're not gonna go and post like, hey, I'm a health coach, reach out to me if you want to move forward with your health. We don't wanna do that, right? We don't wanna seem spammy. Those type of posts aren't really allowed in those groups, right? We just wanna make connections with people. We wanna friend request people in there. We wanna make a post that has to do with that group, right? We're just trying to make connections when it comes to groups. And then we're gonna take one stroll stopping picture, okay? And we're gonna say how many new clients you're looking to invest in before the end of the month. Get creative, hold a sign, do whatever it is that you wanna do. Get creative to where it's gonna stop people in their tracks as they're scrolling and really read what it is that you have to offer, okay? This is so simple, you guys. We always wanna make just one powerful post a day, okay? And then lastly, probably the most important is go register for Optavia Together Live. You guys, events are everything. You know, I went to my first event, although it was in person, you know, 2 weeks into coaching. No idea about anything. I went to my first convention. Well, this is convention online, right? And it makes it how much better when you can just sit from the comfort of your home. You can learn. This is meant for you to grow. And most importantly, you know, we have that amazing type where you can now bring people with you. You know, if you opt for the higher tiers of registration, you can bring people on and have those guest passes to share. So this is so important. This is like a do not miss. You know, I will never miss another event. I actually have never missed an event since I became a coach. Actually, we're going on 4 years next week when we became this week that we became coaches, and we have never missed an event, whether it has been online or whether it's been in person. So this is absolutely without a doubt, if you have not yet registered, go ahead and register for the event that's happening in 2 weeks. So that is all we have. I hope this was really helpful for you guys. Thank you again to the amazing presenters that just came on and shared their story, shared their story, Elizabeth and Sean, and then also the amazing presenters that just shared their hearts, share their value and their wisdom with us. And I hope that you take it, apply it, and let's go grow our business. And hope to see you guys all tomorrow. We're gonna get into social media 101, okay? We're gonna get into everything social media. And so I hope that you're on it. That's an area that you wanna grow in that you do not want to miss tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, you guys.